Welcome into Honorado and Bagnardi afternoon edition, nearing the end of my bedtime. If you're watching us on Thursday, which I hope you are, on the News Channel 13 Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages. If you're watching us Saturday night on My 4, don't worry, you haven't missed the Super Bowl. We'll still give our picks.
Wouldn't this be the beginning of your bedtime?
What did I say?
The end of your bedtime.
Oh, yeah, no, maybe past my bedtime. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really my fault we're doing this because I'm the one who has the schedule change this week during the Olympics, producing the noon instead of the late shows. So it's all messed up. I'm not available at 10. I'm actually busy working.
Yeah. Working is a liberal use of the word there, but yes, busy maybe is a better way to put it. All right. So our Super Bowl 56 picks. Bags, do 56 in Roman numerals for me real quick.
LVX 5VI LVI.
This is like this is a national conversation now. Like,
LVI. Sorry,
why can't we get past the Roman numerals? We're up so like let's just do 5 side by side with a 6. NFL, enough. Stop trying to outsmart us all. Super Bowl 5-6.
Yeah, but isn't that part of it for you now?
It has been, yeah, but now it's too difficult when I want to type it out. Or if you say to me, like, if I just see the logo of a past Super Bowl, I don't know what that is quickly.
True.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm ignorant.
Is that is the number one thing Roman numerals are still relevant for, right? Maybe the only thing?
The only thing.
Yeah. Okay.
The only thing. Yeah. Unless we get another world war, we'll use a three eyes. That's it.
Yes. Great. Okay. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right. So our Super Bowl picks, we're reacting to what's going on at the Olympics, of course, as you watch them on News Channel 13. There is news in the NBA in terms of the trade deadline and in Major League Baseball with the labor negotiations there. We've got it all for you here on Honorado and Bagnardi. Let's get it going.
This is Honorado and Bagnardi, brought to you by Outfit House.
All right, Bags, our thanks to all of our sponsors here on this show as we get closer and closer to a full year in the books. We started before football season, obviously. Yeah. In April. So this is our first Super Bowl prediction. And shout out to John Collin from our graphics department, who has done great work all season for us in our NFL Pick'em presented by Pick 6 Vodka. This is John's last time to shine in the NFL season. And we'll show our picks here coming up here shortly. Rams, Bengals, does this do anything for you? Obviously, we will always watch the game no matter who they put out there. But this matchup in particular, Stafford and Burrow, McVay and Taylor, 2 young coaches. Are you fired up for this matchup, aside from it being a Super Bowl?
Of course. Aren't you? I mean, you want the game to have star power, right? And you want it to have offensive star power, because unless you have like the Ravens defense with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and such, that there's not going to be as much of that excitement because of who the stars are, what the stars are bringing to the table on a defensive side. But this hasn't, man. Stafford is there. Burrow is the up-and-coming guy who is not up-and-coming. He's the present now, not the future. So, yes, those 2 alone, plus Chase is exciting. You mentioned with the coaches. This has all of the ingredients that you want going into a Super Bowl. It has a heavy favorite at 3.5 points for the Rams. That's a heavy favorite when you look at Super Bowl spreads traditionally. So that gives it that heavy underdog element too, which I think people can jump on board with. Is this the Cats here, the Bengals, being the underdogs of this game? So it's exciting.
And that was a 4.5 number earlier this week. So it has come down a little bit in Vegas. The graphic we have below right now is 3.5, but when we first made a graphic element for the show, it was 4.5. So that number has moved already towards Cincinnati's side of things. I'm fired up for this matchup, yes, because Stafford has come such a long way in his career, and now here he is in the Super Bowl playing in what is the home stadium for the Rams. But you said it. Burrow has more than arrived. He has put everybody on notice who just considers Rodgers and Mahomes and previously Brady to be the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Burrow is quickly going to insert himself into that conversation. The two matchups, though, I'm most looking forward to. You mentioned Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey on the other side for Los Angeles. Is he going to travel the field with Chase and basically say, I'm locking you down every single play? And then the same side of the ball really is, I want to see that Rams pass rush against that Bengals offensive line where Burrow is running for his life, sacked 8-9 times against the Titans. Yeah. And so does that O-line hold up well enough against Aaron Donald and Von Miller, who's kind of reborn in a lot of ways after the trade to the Rams? So for me, those are the two matchups I'm most interested in. All right, you want to give us your picks on today's show? What I want to hear them. Jeff, good afternoon, man. Been a while, buddy. I'm glad you can catch us in the afternoons now. Jay Pulatsky, Robbie's watching as well. So if you guys have Super Bowl predictions you want to make, we'd love to hear them on the show.
Yeah, I'm excited too because this game should be close. I would expect it to be. The playoffs have been insane, right? And we talk about the last 2 weeks of the playoffs, the championship round, the divisional round, just being two of the best football weeks you could put together. And I think it's because there was so much parity in the league this year, even near the top, where you had those upper tier teams that weren't at that next level or was so clear, right? Even Brady, even Patrick Mahomes, they showed things during the season where it was like, yeah, these two guys are not necessarily just going to blow the doors off of everybody in the playoffs. It's going to be a challenge if they get there. And now, of course, neither one got there. So I expect it to stay in line. I hope it's not a letdown after what's been a great playoffs and we have one of these teams, get ahead by 2 or 3 scores late and we don't get that exciting finish, because that's, of course, what we want the most in a Super Bowl, especially if it's between two teams you don't have a real serious rooting interest in. But this one brings a lot. And for all the stars I mentioned on offense, you pointed out there are stars on the other side too. So it really does have everything, the complete package of a Super Bowl. Now it's just got to deliver.
All right, let's give our picks here, right? The people have waited a long enough, and I just want to show off the graphic element here, Bags. So NFL Pick'em all season long, presented by Pick Six Vodka. Here we go. We are both on the Rams, and we both say, well, I was looking at a 4.5 point number. Yeah. I like Cincy to cover this thing. So give me 27-24, I guess. If the number goes back in the other direction and it's 4.5, I'll stick with this one. But we both like the Rams and we both say it's a 1-possession game. You've got it as a field goal.
So because the line has moved by a point, your prediction has moved by a point?
Yes, because if I'm betting money, as I will on a mobile application, I am going to pick the Bengals to cover.
But you wouldn't. You initially in your mind said, I am going to have them losing this game by 4. And now that the spread is 3.5, you magically think they're going to cover that? Why?
Yes, because I think they will keep this game within the spread.
What if the spread goes to 2.5? It won't by Sunday.
It won't. Don't play hypotheticals with me.
All right. Yes, we're both picking the Rams, although I'm having a hard time deciding who I'm rooting for in this game. Because
when it comes down to it, if the Bengals are down by 2 or 1 and Burrow's got the ball with a minute left, will you find yourself rooting for a game-winning field goal or touchdown?
Probably. Yeah, that's probably what it's all. I'm going to root for the team that's losing to start because I want it to be close. And then late, I will be rooting for probably whoever has the ball last and a chance to win if it's a close game. Yeah, for sure. I want it to be a good game. I want it to be an exciting game. I think all things being equal, I'm pulling a little bit more for Stafford than I am for Burrow. I like Burrow's game maybe better, but Stafford has really paid his dues. So I'm rooting for him.
And we both, with an over-under number of 48.5, we both like the over here. I wouldn't call this crazy high scoring by any means, but we both like this game to go over 48.5.
You like that enough to bet it? That'll be a part of
definitely. I will. Jay Pulaski says, "Look at the smoke." You're right. Look at the smoke.
that is some next level Tom on fire on these graphics, literally. So you're going to bet. Will you parlay the spread and the over under?
Yes. Yep. I will bet Bengals to cover and the game to go over. Yep. There is the mobile betting advice you do not need, people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would pick the Bengals to cover as well because I have this a 3-point game.
Adam says he likes the Bengals. Joe Burrow's O-line scares them. Yeah, like we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
9 sacks against Tennessee. Yeah, we just said that. I think, I did not make a graphic for this, but if I had to pick, if we were picking an MVP in this game, honestly, I think it's Aaron Donald. And I've had that thought in my mind here for a while. I think Donald gets home to Burrow 2, maybe 3 times. And I think the story, when we wake up Monday morning, we are going to be talking about the Rams' victory because of the pass rush.
Okay, but that being said, we're both taking the over. We both have high-scoring games here, and you're talking about a defensive guy winning MVP. I don't think so. If this one goes the way we both see it going, it's going to be the quarterback for the winning team, most likely, as it is in most Super Bowls.
Yeah, no kidding.
But again, this one, I want to be able to root for Burrow, and a part of me says, well, Burrow, he's got more chances down the road, but you never know how this goes. You never know, right? I mean, you could have said that about Patrick Mahomes, and he may still have more chances as well, and he got his ring, but you just never know. It's really hard to get back there. The Tom Brady's of the world just don't come along.
Right. Look, Rodgers has been there once.
Yeah.
Breeze was there once. Mahomes, yes, has been there twice, but he still only has the one victory. Sam likes the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff likes the Rams. You know who Nick is picking.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to put it up.
He's on the Bengals. The thing that I love about this game is I think people are interested, and it is 2 teams that our area has no interest in. Right? I mean, to be fair, but it's football. It's the Super Bowl, and I really think that these are kind of 2. I don't know if this is good or not, but these are 2 teams that nobody really hates. Maybe teams don't like the Rams because they're LA, but nobody really hates Matthew Stafford. Joe Burrow has a swagger and style and attitude about him that will grow tired on people who don't enjoy that. He's very, very confident. I don't think it's an act, but I love the bravado he's got. That, though, will wear on people whether he wins or not. If he keeps it up, people will be like, okay, enough of this Burrow guy.
It's like the Bengals are unlikable, but people just don't realize it yet or won't commit to that because they feel like, hey, these are just the young guys doing their thing out there. And to some degree have played with house money a little bit this postseason, and now they find themselves obviously with a chance to go out and win a championship. So
Pulaski says he's going to hammer the Rams and the under.
Yeah,
that seems about right.
That's a guy who's paid attention. We don't need to show our pick 6 results for the regular season for any regular viewer at all to understand that going against us is a good move.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so we both like the Rams to win.
Yeah.
Will you bet the Bengals to cover?
I will. Yep.
Will you bet the game to go over or under?
I'm going to bet the over. I feel more confident about the over in this game than I do even the Bengals cover.
Do you know what I've found too? And even with NBA games, my buddy texts me this all the time. It's just easier to root for points. If you're watching a game and you've got money on it, it's more difficult to root for punts and interceptions and missed field goals and stuff. Like, I get it. It's part of it, but I don't know. A lot of times it's just easier to hope for points.
How wild will you go with some of the more exotic bets?
Yeah. I'll get into it. Yeah, I'll get into it.
We'll go like national anthem, duration.
Oh, that type of stuff. Coin flip.
Yeah, coin flip.
Color of the Gatorade. Yeah, I will do some of that.
Okay.
I'm going under on the national anthem. I don't even know what the number is, but I'm going to go under.
This is a low blow from Jeff Warnick. Will you be able to stay awake for the whole game?
You know what? It's a fair question. It's a very fair question.
I mean, you did miss playoff games that you shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's true. But I will absolutely stay awake because Bags and I will be live at Saratoga National for the Super Bowl. 5 to 6 o'clock with special guest in person. He's going to be in the house.
Wow.
Super Bowl champion kicker Harrison Butker from the Kansas City Chiefs, courtesy of our guys at Novice Clothing Company, Nick and Garrett Bernardo, their partnership with Butker. And so Harrison's going to hang out with us, Shawnee, pre-game before kickoff. So you can watch your Taricos and Collinsworths and now all you want. Tune into us right here on the News Channel 13 Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages. We'll be live from 5 to 6 at Saratoga National Super Bowl Sunday.
Did you think that the Super Bowl champion Harrison Butker, his Chiefs were on the brink of doing something special again this season, and now he's going to be hanging out with us on Super Bowl Sunday? Is there a bigger disappointment for an NFL player?
No.
Probably
see what happens. See what happens when you don't make the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Carol's pumped up for it. Yeah, we are. Jason's on the Bengals for sure. All right, I love it. So we got some predictions coming in here, but we're fired up to be at Saratoga National on Super Bowl Sunday. Hope you guys will check that out. We kind of loosely talked about this before we jumped into the predictions, and I'm curious. I think most people are going to go Mahomes, Rodgers, and you put them in whatever order you'd like. Now with Brady retired, where does Burrow ascend to if he wins this Super Bowl, or where is he now? Is he already in the conversation for you?
In the conversation of what? Top 5?
Yes.
Okay. I think
would you put him in the top 5 today?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to go through it, right? So the problem is what you have to look at with these questions is if you put another really good quarterback, a decent quarterback in his situation, or if you
stop it with that. I hate that. No, base him on the job he has done, regardless of who's around him.
You can't say regardless. That's the whole reason of how we can judge somebody is looking at what they might do somewhere else. If you're going to compare them to other people in the league, you have to ask yourself how they would do in their shoes or vice versa.
Right,
if you're going on that, then yes, you have to say he is because he's still playing and nobody else is except for Stafford. So
would you take Burrow over Josh Allen?
No.
Okay. That's where I think you'll kind of get that divide, the breaking point maybe so far is that a lot of people will go Mahomes and Rodgers.
Yeah.
Whatever order. I don't care 1, 2. And then maybe Allen is third. I'm just looking at, Lamar Jackson. Are people taking Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow? I'm not.
No.
I know he has an MVP and Burrow doesn't, but I'm not. Deshaun Watson hasn't played in more than a year.
No.
Derek Carr's a really good player. Justin Herbert's phenomenal. Would you take Herbert over Burrow?
Herbert and Burrow are both, they're the
Similar?
ones that, because they're the way they're climbing up. I think in a couple of years from now, we could be talking about those guys at the very top of the list. But right now I'm going to put Allen ahead of both of them. And then, they might fill out the top 5 for me.
Yeah, and you're not taking Russell Wilson over him. You're not taking Garoppolo over him. You're not taking Kyler Murray over him.
No.
For me, it's Rodgers, it's Mahomes, it's Allen, Herbert and Burrow. Yes, for sure. Jason wants to know about Dak Prescott.
Yep.
Not for me over these guys that we've listed. Dak is behind them.
It's like, yeah, they're catching up. So it's like they may not be quite at Dak yet. I mean, I think they really are. But if they're not, they're going to pass him pretty soon, right? And that's the way I look at these guys as ascending, whereas Dak has now kind of leveled off. And I'm a Dak guy.
Okay, I know you are. So let me play your game. Put Dak on Cincinnati. Are they in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think they are.
You're out of your mind. There's no chance. I've seen Dak with all kinds of weapons in Dallas, and they haven't delivered. And I don't care whose fault it is. I don't care if it's McCarthy with the play call at the end there, or Dak not sliding late enough, not knowing to hand the ball off to.
No.
But if I put Dak on the Bengals, it's not happening.
Put Burrow on the Cowboys. Are they still playing?
I think they're pretty darn good. I think
they're good.
Pretty darn good, man.
Yeah. Listen, I had him ahead of Dak.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like real close. And if they're just behind Dak, they're about to pass him anyway. So I'm giving them that edge. You couldn't go wrong with Dak though on the Bengals. I don't think.
Would you put money on a kicker to win the Super Bowl?
It could happen. I wouldn't put money on it.
It absolutely could happen.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly a big clutch kick late in a game combined with a couple other field goals in a low-scoring game. Absolutely.
Yep.
But I'm not going to.
Rockman's got the Rams. He's got the Rams big. This is the biggest number, the biggest spread we've seen from any picks by viewers today.
Yeah. And that's, I would say, if it's going to be a blowout, if you're going to tell me, hey, on Monday, this is a 2-score game and I didn't get to see it, I would guess definitely the Rams. Yeah. You wouldn't?
No, I would. I would too.
Okay.
Yeah. I would. If you told me it's a 2-score game, I would say the Rams just had too much for Kupp and Beckham, and the defense was too good. That's how I would lean to.
Are you into halftime at all?
Oh my God. Ashley
Snoop.
asked me the other day, because we're going to be at National, and our plan was like, do we leave at halftime to get home so I can get a little bit of sleep? You're shaking your head. So you want me to stay at National till the end of the game, 10:30?
A Super Bowl. Yes, till 10:30. I'm going to listen. I have to be in at 7 the next day too. I know it's not 1 a.m, but
yeah.
Listen, you got it.
Okay.
It's the Super Bowl.
So anyway, Ash said, are you interested in halftime? Am I interested? And she's like, but that's where we talked about maybe that being our travel time. I said, can't be. If it is, I will DVR it and watch it when I get home after the game. But Dre, Snoop, Mary J, you can't miss it. You cannot. No way. This is 90s hip hop, man. This is my wheelhouse.
Do you think that? Oh, Sam's got a Nets question. We're going to get to the Nets in a little bit. Do you think that, not that it matters, but that this is like something where older viewers will be like, what is going on with this halftime? Or you think it's like because the 90s, I mean, we're not getting any younger. What do you think?
Say that again, because I'm distracted by some breaking news here, and let's just do it.
All right, let's do it.
James Harden is on his way to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
This is Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN reporting. Harden from Brooklyn to Philly for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, 2 first-round picks. They are unprotected.
Wow.
In 2022, and then a protected 5 years later in 2027. Paul Millsap also going in the deal, according to Woj. That is our executive producer, Josh Kumjian, over it for us. So there you go, Bags. Let's take a quick time out here. When we come back, we'll get Shawnee's reaction, diehard Nets fan, to the news that James Harden has just been traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, the Brooklyn Big Three. Now, no more. How soon will Ben Simmons actually get on the court for them, though? That I'm really curious about. All right, we're back right after this on Honorado and Bagnardi.
Happiness is found in simple things. The sun on your face, sharing laughs, at the campground, getting wet, relaxing together, the love of family. There's never been a better time to go outside and play. Alpenhaus Pool Spa Boat and RV, bringing families together and creating memories since 1964.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, JennAir, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Honorado and Bagnardi. Brought to you by Alpenhaus.
All right, the breaking news here is that James Harden has been traded from Brooklyn to Philadelphia. Sean is laughing, but I can tell this is not a happy smile from him. You said in the newsroom before the show you didn't want Brooklyn to blow this thing up. You wanted Sean Marks to give this group an opportunity to win. We know Harden is a free agent going into next year. I can't imagine Philly makes this deal without knowing he'll sign a long-term extension, given the assets they have traded, 2 first-round picks, most notably. Ben Simmons wasn't going to play for this team ever again. So to me, it's the 2 first-round picks that jump out at me, and Seth Curry, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Your thoughts, Bags?
All right. So I did say to you, my A plan would be to keep the big 3 together because we haven't really seen the big 3. Not the way that we had envisioned it, not even close. I wanted them to give this team a chance. The Nets are reeling right now. They've lost 8 in a row. Yeah, I was dipping into the pick 6. But I was trying to say don't be a prisoner of the moment here. Just focus on getting these 3 guys healthy and all on the court for the playoffs, and you've got as good a chance as anybody. The league is wide open.
Yep.
Right? I wanted to see the big 3. That was the experiment, and ending that experiment before you even get to see it kind of feels like a failure. So that being said, I think at the end of the day, Harden really gave you the best chance to win. But now let's look at the trade, right? I think, first of all, the Nets said they weren't going to move Harden. Then it became clear that he wanted out. And I think at that point you have to move him, because if he wants out and you know you're not going to be able to re-sign him, you've got to get as much for him as you can. And the Nets, of course, did get a lot in this trade, as you would expect. Simmons, we'll see. I'm not the biggest Ben Simmons fan, but if he's playing for this team and he's committed, he's, of course, an all-star guy. He's a guy you can't have on the court late in the game because you can't trust him to hit a free throw. And the guy just can't make a jump shot. All right. But
really good defender.
But he's a good defender. And with Kevin Durant out on the court and Kyrie Irving out on the court, you don't need that offensive load from him, especially late in games. So hopefully he doesn't have the ball in his hand for there even to be a foul. You can just use him for his defense late. So it is what it is with Ben Simmons. He was the guy who had to come across if you were going to trade Harden to Philly. Right. Seth Curry, like you said, is a really good shooter, and that's need shooting. Joe Harris has missed almost the whole season, and that is a big gaping hole for them. Also, Andre Drummond, let's not overlook that, because one of the biggest issues the Nets have had for the last 2 seasons, even with all the superstars they have, is controlling the glass. Yep. Right? They allow way too many second chance points because other teams get rebounds. Drummond is a perennial all-time rebound guy, and you're going to need him if you're really going to compete in the Eastern Conference against the likes of Giannis and Joel Embiid now. So you're going to want him out there. So, and then the picks. I mean, the picks are huge to bring back 2 first-round picks. So, if we have to get rid of him because he doesn't want to be there, I'm at least happy with what they got in return. I wonder what it does to their championship chances this season.
Talk to me about that. Do you like their odds better now than before?
James Harden's a really good player. He was starting to throw the ball around a lot in his last couple games. You could tell he was getting frustrated with the whole situation.
He was done.
He's been frustrated with Kyrie not playing with the team. He was frustrated, I think, with a lot of the COVID stuff, guys in and out, and just hard to really find his footing. Because there was a time there when it seemed like he was actually really committed. And I know it was maybe a way shorter window than you would want, but it seemed like he was in, and he was the one having trouble getting others in, not Kevin Durant, of course.
Yep.
And I felt like he wanted to play with Kevin Durant, and I thought that Kevin Durant wanted him to be there because, and look, I don't think they do this unless Durant signs off too. So, which he probably, I'm sure this was Harden said, look, I want out. And Durant was like, yeah, then you got to go, man.
Yep.
Yep.
Who do you like better today to win it all, Philly or Brooklyn? If you had to put money down on one of these 2 teams to win it all, Philly or Brooklyn today?
If both teams are healthy, I put it on Brooklyn because of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the difference. He's the best player in the world. He's the best scorer on the planet. And ultimately, if you have him out there, I like your chances a little bit better. The East is good. I mean, the East is Miami is really good. You can't sleep on Milwaukee, right? They're the champions. So this is something that I think you move Harden to another team that you're competing with to win this conference. So it's hard to look at. I mean, he's a really good player. I don't want to say it's like an even swap in terms of where I view their percentage on winning. I feel like you come down a little bit, but I still would favor them in the East if they're all
February 10th, as we do this show, is Ben Simmons playing in a game for the Nets before March 1st?
Well, the Nets are big on ramping guys up, whatever the hell that means. They always got to ramp up guys when they've been out for a while. Steve Nash says that all the time. Look, they need him.
He's not injured. He's not injured. He should be in good enough shape that, 5 solid practices gets him into game shape where he can play 20 minutes.
Yeah, let's look at the calendar here because you got their last game here is a week from today before the All-Star break. You have an entire week off, and then their next game back is
so he won't play before the All-Star break. Will
not play. Yes. So the first game back, you're at home against the Celtics on February 24th. I want to see Ben Simmons on the floor in that game. There's
February
no reason.
24th.
Yeah, no reason for him not to be. I got
2 weeks. I got one more for you here.
Yeah.
Okay. I got one more for you here. knowing what we know, can't go back in time, but I'm still just curious as a fan. Do you like where the Nets are now? Simmons, Durant, Kyrie, Drummond, Curry, 2 firsts, compared to where they were Durant, Irving, LeVert, Allen, Harris. Which version of the Nets do you like? Pre-James Harden or post-James Harden?
Well, it's interesting now, too, because Karis LeVert just wound up with Cleveland, so he's going to play with Jared Allen again, and we might be able to see how those two really explode in the East, because Cleveland's another team completely on the way up in the Eastern Conference. I like where they are now, I think, especially because of those picks, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I think the middle version might be the best when you really have those big three, but I like where they are after the trade compared to where they were before. And I certainly like where they are now compared to where they might have been less than a year from now if Harden walked. I mean, I
hear that. And look, if you're Brooklyn, you feel like this guy is not sticking around. If we don't trade him, we have to get something for him.
Right.
And
you now look at this as like, okay, maybe our chances go down just a little bit this season. Maybe they don't, but maybe they go down just a little bit. We still really like our chances in the East and to go give this thing a shot if we're all healthy. And now it's not just a 1-year window. Maybe we extend that another couple of years, keep Durant happier for longer, and try to go get something next year or the year after with these guys built a little bit more around not worrying about James Harden walking out the door.
Much as we talk about the picks, with a team as good as Philly, what is the real value of a first-round pick? 2027 is the one that you can look at and say, what is Embiid 5 years from now? Is the body kind of broken down a little bit on him? Are they as good as they currently are? Like next year's first-round pick, what is it going to do for you? It's going to be a late first-rounder. It gives you some ammunition to move up if you want, but how valuable is it, I think, is what the naysayers would say.
No, and the Nets have done a good job with late first-round picks. I think Cam Thomas is going to be a good player.
Yeah, okay.
Even a guy like Day'Ron Sharp, who they brought in, Sean Marks has done a good job showing he can get value late in the draft, but it just gives you more pieces, too, if you need to make another move down the road. I mean, you never know when Kyrie Irving isn't going to be happy and you need to, move him and package it with something to try another, whatever it is. The ultimate thing is it's about keeping Kevin Durant happy. That's the most important thing. This move, I guess he was okay with. It's sad to see the big three experiment not really come to fruition, but at the end of the day, I still think they're in okay shape in the Eastern Conference.
All right, quick timeout here. We are not going far. We're back in 15 seconds. Mikaela Shiffrin struggles. Everybody's talking about it. The gold medal performances from people like Nathan Chen and Chloe Kim, people are buzzing about that from what's going on in Beijing. We've got the Popeyes Louisiana Fast Minute still to come on today's show, and news from Major League Baseball in terms of the labor conversations. We're back in literally 15 seconds. Hang on.
Is here. Get free golf at the Empire Golf Expo, February 26th and 27th at the Albany Capitol Center. Over 20 free rounds of golf with every ticket. Discounted apparel and equipment. Meet CBS Sports announcer Dottie Pepper. Presale tickets at EmpireGolfExpo.com.
All right, Shawnee, we are back here on Honorado and Bagnardi. Yes, the Golf Expo, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in the show. And we'll have Dottie Pepper live in studio as well at News Channel 13 coming up in
Take me full.
A couple of weeks.
You took you just ruined the magic of television when you took the wider. Look at this. Look at this. Why did you take the shot that showed off? I mean, unbelievable. All right, go back.
How come you didn't hang up like some notes on the cork board to make it look like you're busy?
I'm not busy. I'm talking to you about James Harden getting traded.
There's something with the program we use where certain things you do, it makes the shot look wider.
Right. No, I get it.
Not much I can do about that.
Olympics, right? Come on, let's go. We got a lot to get in here in 20 minutes.
All right, let's do it here. Listen, the biggest thing going right now is the way Mikaela Shiffrin is struggling. She is a world
counter. You are. Chloe Kim wins a gold. Nathan Chen wins a gold in figure skating.
Yeah,
we're on the board here now, and you want to go to the negative.
What are people talking about most, especially with Shiffrin about to go in the Super G on Thursday night into Friday? people want to know, okay, how is she going to perform? What is the mentality of this world-class skier right now? How do you explain what's happening here? And are we going to make I don't know that it's a leap. It feels like a little bit of a leap to the Simone Biles comparison here. We'll see how Shiffrin does. She's not dropping out of the Olympics. She's not stepping away from the sport. She actually sounded pretty confident now ahead of the Super G. But man, I don't know about you. Maybe it's my old age here, but I feel for her. Like, I think there were times in my life where I'd be like, what is going on with this athlete? But with Shiffrin, you see her sitting on the side of the course for half an hour, and I'm like, how do you even get upset about this? She's crushed.
Well, this is, of course, what makes winning so special, is because of just how difficult it is. And especially in Olympic competition, when you have to train for so long and wait so long in between, and then it's literally one mistake, right?
Yeah.
Cost you not just a medal, but cost you from being on the podium. And in something like skiing, I mean, I joked today when I came in, we're going to see Mikaela slipping back on the hill tonight, but it literally is as small as a slip, right? That can ruin your entire Olympics. And, you heard her after the second time she didn't get down clean. You heard her talking about, like, she's questioning the last, 17 years or whatever it's been now of her life because of this. And it's like, well, that, to me, that's just raw emotion, her coming down the hill, right? After a defeat. But yeah, there's a mental aspect to this, man, that's really hard to judge. And I think it is a big part of, again, what makes winning so special, when you can go out there and not just have the physical ability, but the mental ability to overcome a lot of this stuff. And look, I hope she does that. I hope she does overcome it in her next event. And it's a part of what makes the Olympics different from other sports that does make it fun to watch.
I think she has a big. You could be watching this on Saturday or back on social media, and I think she has a big Super G race. Big. I'm not saying gold, but I think she has I think she bounces back in a big way.
Well, don't tell her, because obviously the pressure is not something that she handles too well. No, I'm kidding.
It's
not.
Else.
No, and you know why too? I don't even think it's about that, right? To me,
I agree. I agree.
It's literally as difficult as slipping. You're skiing on a course that you've never been on, and all the snow had to be made. It's all fake. The shots are so funny when you see these dry mountains behind them, and they're skiing down on, like, it's really, really difficult to do. The Simone Biles thing, that's different, right? Because that is something that she even described. Not that it's all just specific to gymnastics, but something that you see in gymnastics a lot, when it's like, you get in the air and it's like you're afraid, or something doesn't click on how you're going to come down the right way, to the point where you just can't do it because it's not safe. I don't think she's at that level of it. I think she's just made a couple of mistakes that have cost her in some key races here in the Olympics. And now that takes a mental toll on you. But you're right, man. I'm rooting for her, and I hope she does have a big bounce back.
All right. So you want the positive. Here it is. Nathan Chen was phenomenal. I don't know if you saw his routine in the free skate. It was awesome. Compilation of Elton John songs, man. It was entertaining. He is a thrilling athlete when he leaves the ice. He's incredible. He wins gold. He had a record score in the men's short program, which he really struggled in 4 years ago in Pyeongchang. And then Chloe Kim in the half pipe. Now the first female to win multiple snowboard gold medals in this event. She's only 21. Two rock stars, man, 22 and 21 years old.
Yep. And we got Shaun White still to look forward to, too, who's on the other side of it, right? The guy who is the old man who we used to watch, now doing it. The Olympics, the biggest thing about the Olympics, even bigger than the sports, are the stars. And you need to have stars that stand out in your country. And most countries have at least one or two, I think, who stand out for them. Certainly the bigger countries, we know. But this has been an Olympic Games that I was a little worried, like, are we going to have those stars who really emerge? Are we just going to, obviously we know the NHL guys aren't out there in hockey, so that kind of takes away from that. Not having, like, household names, not that anybody who plays hockey is a household name.
Oh, boy.
But, were these guys, Shiffrin was like the biggest one, right, going in. And we talked about her struggle. So it's like, considering that, you need to have these other stars really step up. Of course, Chloe Kim was the favorite in her event, and she lived up to that. So she's another one.
And Chen too. Heavy favorite.
Chen, yeah. But it's like these guys aren't some of the names of Olympics past, right? Where you just know them going in. We know them because we're an NBC station and we cover the Olympics, but I don't know that these names are as popular. Everybody knows Shaun White, right? But I don't know that these ones are quite on that level. And you need to keep doing this. You need to keep the winning going so that you do become that kind of household name, like a Michael Phelps, for instance.
Okay, but let's stick to the Winter Games, because that's the fair comparison here. I'm going to throw some names at you, and I don't people watching it. Are these names that you knew going into each Winter Games? Bonnie Blair, Apollo Antonono, they just both happen to be speed skaters.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Jansen was a speed skater that had lofty expectations on him, but are there a lot of Winter Olympians that
maybe that's part of the issue? There are no everybody knows Simone Biles going in. Everybody knows that name.
Okay, but like Peekaboo Street was a big name in downhill. Bodie Miller was a big name in downhill.
Yeah.
Shaun White's been around now 5 Olympic games, so I know you mentioned him as the one kind of household name that everybody knows. I don't know. Are we making a distinction here between the Winter Olympics and the Summer Games that
maybe? Could be. Yeah, it could be. I'm just saying, like, for the Olympics to be real successful, especially in this country, I think you really need the stars to carry it as opposed to just the sports themselves. And I'm going to get into that more in my Louisiana Fast Minute, so I don't want to blow up all that. But it's about the medals. We want to win. Give us the medals in this country. That's what we want. And we want gold, by the way. That's another part of it.
How bad are we?
Took this country too long to get its first gold medal in these games. And now we're talking about these two names because they got to gold. They got to the top of the podium, not just on the podium. That's not good enough for Team USA. Not good enough.
Yeah, we are terrible. That, we look at the medal count and you want to be first there, but then it's like, well, we need more gold. So we don't want to lose the gold medal. We don't care about the silver and bronze count. We want the total and we want the gold medal. And that's and we are critical when it comes to that stuff.
Because the Olympics is about being the best in the world, not being about the second best or the third best. It's about being the best in the world, putting yourself up against people from every other country in that sport and saying, we are the best. I am the best. And to do that, it's got to be the gold medal. It's got to be.
All right, another really quick timeout here. We're back in less than a minute with the Louisiana Fast Minute.
If you're overweight, if you snore, don't wait for your next physical to find out you have sleep apnea. It could cost you your job. Call Dr. Frederick Dreyer at the Integrative Sleep Center for a game-changing alternative in sleep apnea treatment and get a good night's rest.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through products and purpose. Claim your crown.
Wondering what to do now that your Philips CPAP was recalled? Dr. Frederick Dreyer has a safe and effective alternative treatment for sleep apnea. Just pop it in and get a good night's rest. Keep your quality of life. Call the Integrative Sleep Center today. We work with all insurances.
And now, back to Honorado and Bagnardi. Brought to you by Alpin House.
Breaking news in this show is that James Harden's been traded from Brooklyn to Philadelphia. NBA trade deadline. Wild so far, although the writing was on the wall that this deal would probably get done, and it is. Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and Andre Drummond and 2 first-round picks go back to the Nets for James Harden and Paul Millsap. Bags, as you look at the snow on the ground, I know you won't believe me, but golf season is right around the corner, and that is why I'm here to tell you about the Empire Golf Expo, February 26th and 27th, so end of this month, and we will have a conversation with Dottie Pepper before any of that happens. But if you go to the Expo, you'll have an opportunity to meet our good friend Dottie, to pick up her outstanding book, which we've talked about on this show with her. And at the Expo, you'll find discounted apparel and equipment, 20 free rounds of golf with every ticket. So you go to the Expo, you're going to get free golf as well. EmpireGolfExpo.com. Check it out, February 26th and 27th at the Albany Capitol Center. We'll get back to what the Nets did. We'll get back to the Super Bowl prediction. later on in the show. But before we do that, Shawnee, let's do the Louisiana Fast Minute. And our proud sponsor of this segment is Popeyes. And each and every week, Sean and I will deliver our Louisiana Fast Minute and 5 seconds, minute 10 on a bad day.
Yep.
But Bags, you are up first, brother. You ready to go on the clock?
I'm ready. Do I have to unmute myself here or no?
No, you're good to go. You ready? Here we go.
I'm ready. All right, Chris. So for my Louisiana Fast Minute, I am talking about the Winter Games, as I mentioned. In particular, why they might not be as popular as we would want them to be. Ratings are down nationally, and they're not just down, they're down bad. According to Sports Illustrated, and this came out 2 days ago, so this was after the first 4 days of competition, the NBC is on track for the lowest rated Winter Olympics in American television history. That's not good, and we work at an NBC station, Chris. This pays your salary here, I hope you know. Through the first 4 nights, well, let's do a Friday night's coverage. Friday, the big night, averaged 12.8 million viewers. That's NBC, USA, and Peacock. That's down from 27.8 million on average 4 years ago. For me, the Winter Games, Chris, and I talked about, you need to have the star power, right? For me, the Winter Games, though, present a little bit of a problem. The Summer Games, we can watch what's going on and pretty much get it and say that person's faster than that person on the track. The Winter Games, Chloe Kim, for instance, you see her right here. She's in the half pipe. Her run looks exactly the same as the 10 people who went before. I know it's not, but it looks exactly the same. So we can't appreciate it. We're not smart enough. And the more exotic the sports get, the cooler they get, the more fun they get maybe to watch, but only for a short time. Like take the luge, for instance, and I know that's been around forever. You watch it and it's like, I haven't seen this in 4 years. It's amazing. They're flying down the track. But then you're like, okay, this is exactly the same. Every run is exactly the same unless somebody goes flying off and gets hurt, which you don't want to see. So for me, it's like the exotic nature of the winter sports can hurt it because it's really cool for a little bit, but we don't understand it enough. And then it's just more of the same over and over.
Somebody, please, I hope, was keeping a clock beyond the buzzer. I mean, that's a minute and a half.
Well, first of all, I got fouled during it, so I get the free throw after. I mean, look, do you not agree with me that when you watch these games, did you watch Chloe Kim in the half pipe?
I did.
Me too.
I got home last night, ice castles in Lake George. Very cool.
Yeah.
And we did. We threw the TV on, watched Chloe Kim in the half pipe. I love her, man. I think she is so awesome. And I was going to then stay up for Nathan Chen. Go ahead, tell me what happened to you.
Well, I was going to stay up for Nathan Chen too, but NBC kept saying, hey, he's going to be on at 10:40, leading me to believe he's going to be on the ice skating at 10:40. Yeah. No, not until after midnight does this guy actually skate. So I went to bed.
Yeah, and I actually watched the routine when I got into work about 2:45.
Chloe Kim, fine, right? She does her first run. She knows she's going to win the gold. She's crying. It's emotional. And then we still have to sit through 2 more runs of her where she's not going to be challenged. To me, that wasn't. But we watched it, and it's like, yeah, I get it. She's doing an extra flip or one extra spin on this jump versus somebody else, so it puts her way over the top. But it's like, I didn't see that when it happened, and neither did you. You're not an expert. And you watch people go skiing. Everybody doing the downhill. They're flying down the mountain at 85 miles an hour. One guy comes in, 0.04 of a second faster than the other guy, and it's like, all right. But it doesn't look any different. It looks the same, so it becomes boring after a while. It's boring. People are bored by these Olympics. That's why they're not watching.
So how about this as a quick but not so easy fix? What if we had a giant mountain and you could race everybody at once? Now that I would tune in.
And I watch it. They do that with the snowboarding, right? Where they all go down. That's fun to watch.
Supercross or whatever they call it. Yeah. Yep.
That's fun. But most of these events they become so repetitive, and we don't understand them enough. We don't understand how a guy can turn his luge or the bobsled in one going up one little corner that makes up a fraction of a second difference. Figure skating, it all looks the same. You can't tell. Your human eye can't tell if a guy does 4 spins or 3, and that's the biggest difference in the world in that competition.
Yeah. Okay. So you say it's the sports as to why people aren't watching. I say it's the time difference. If prime time had live coverage that was dependable, right? That you could have a schedule knowing Chen's going to skate at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Kim's going to be in the half pipe at 8.
Yeah.
If it was,
that helps.
If it was, I don't even just have to be in America. If it's in the same time zone, and I know that every night I am getting events that have not been run before. Okay. It's not tape delayed, and I can rely on the schedule holding.
Yeah.
I think the ratings are still good. I think this is a time difference thing. I texted you this too. NBC's pushing a lot to Peacock.
Well, that number Peacock.
The ratings you're talking about that Sports Illustrated's
citing, the one that included Peacock from the Friday night viewing. But listen, the biggest issue for me is not the sports. It's that you don't have the stars. And if you don't have the stars, then the sports aren't enough to carry it. You need big time superstars people will watch for. If you had Michelle Kwan out there and people who are just these automatic names who come to mind, they're going to watch them even if they don't understand the sport that much. Chloe Kim, okay. Nathan Chen, fine. Maybe you had that a little bit yesterday. You'll get Shaun White, Shiffrin too. But in the absence of those big stars, the sports aren't enough to carry it because we just don't get them. We don't get them.
Okay. Ash says track and swimming, very repetitive in the same way too. I would agree, but it's side-by-side racing.
Yes, the pool you can see, just like on the track. It's like, okay, Michael Johnson is 3 feet ahead of the guy. We can appreciate that,
I get it. Okay. All right, I'm going on the clock here. My Louisiana Fast Minute, brought to you by Popeyes. And it is the news that Tom Brady bags this week on his podcast left the door ajar. This guy knows every single step of his career and life. This is no fluke. He did not misspeak. He wasn't caught off guard by some question. Tom Brady says, I'm not ruling anything out. I'm going to take it as it comes. I don't know how it feels 6 months from now. Those were his words on his podcast with Jim Gray. And I'm telling you, this is great drama for the NFL. And I also think that Brady's being genuine. I think there's a real chance he comes back. We've talked about it on this show that it was perhaps more the circumstances of this Buccaneers roster and team that led Brady to say, don't want to do it anymore. Led the NFL in passing yards, passing touchdowns, completions. At 44 years old, going to be second in the NFL MVP vote. You tell me this guy can't and still doesn't want to play? I don't buy it. I think Tom Brady absolutely would come back given the right situation.
Okay, so bottom line it for me then. Do you think he plays again?
No.
Because the right situation won't be there.
Yes.
What would be the best situation for him if he were to come back, say, not next year, but the year after? Could he afford to sit out a year at his age?
Yes. Are you going to doubt this man of doing anything physically on a football field?
No, but isn't it different, though, in terms of the interest level from teams a year plus from now instead of...
No, this is the greatest quarterback of all time, and it isn't even close. The people who used to make the argument that it was Joe Montana, and I was one of them, you can't make that argument anymore. It's not even close. A team like the Niners, okay, let's say Garoppolo's gone, and they start Trey Lance, and Lance is a disaster, and the Niners have a top 6 pick, and Brady's sitting at home and thinks, that was the team I grew up rooting for. I could do a year in the Bay Area. I could try to get my childhood team to a Super Bowl title. Are you telling me the Niners are going to say, hey, Tom, we're good. No, thanks. Now, I know they didn't want him when he was leaving New England. That's publicized and pretty well documented at this point. And I think that ticked him off. But I still think he would go play for them because that is a good situation.
What about the Jets?
No, get out of here. I'm thinking to myself, Packers trade Rodgers. They signed Tom Brady.
The natural choice to see him retire in a certain uniform would be to go to New England, but obviously they're pretty happy with Mac Jones right now, and that relationship with Belichick, I don't think would ever allow that to happen anyway. But that would be the fit to me, where it's like you'd want him to retire, just for the sake of the documentary that's going to air in 10 years. But yeah, I would like to see him come back and play football.
I know, me too.
Isn't that funny for a guy who spent a lot of time not liking him and rooting against him? He's
because
compelling.
you and I appreciate the value of good storylines. Like, yeah, we are fans first, but after that, we want drama and good storylines, and we want, you need villains. And I don't know if Brady's a villain anymore, but if he comes back and kind of heel turns and goes to play for a contender and wins again.
Nick says Dallas. How about him with Sean Payton in a year and a half, 2 years?
Right. They decide, let's go team up somewhere. Yeah. Let's go team up somewhere. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Let's get your final thoughts here on the Harden deal.
Yeah.
Before we say goodbye. This was the breaking news in the show. We'll give you our picks here as well before we say goodbye. But Bags, James Harden is no longer a Brooklyn Net. He is going to Philadelphia. And today, as we stand here, Sixers, man, I need these two teams to meet in the playoffs. Need these two, because there is animosity between Joel Embiid and everybody in the NBA, which is great. He is a great character for the league. And then you throw Harden in there. Look, Durant and Kyrie can play buddy with the beard, having been short-time teammates with him. But there would be such a fire that burns to try to knock Harden out of the playoffs after he said, I want to go to another situation that I believe is better than this one.
True, although I think it's him wanting to leave in this case, I think is more the Nets' fault than his fault, or the circumstances surrounding the Nets, I guess you would say. This is different than him leaving or wanting out of Houston. I know obviously he's going to get this reputation now as this kind of guy, and that's maybe fair, maybe unfair, but the reality is there was that window here with the Nets where I think he was all in and felt like he wasn't getting the same, especially from Kyrie Irving, and he was having his frustrations with this team. So it kind of is what it is. I'm sad to see him go as a fan. I still think the big three, there's sort of the part of me that wanted to see it just because we were all in on that and we're invested in that. And then the bigger part of me, I think still says that gives them the best chance to win, but they're a more complete team now. I mean, now is Kyrie I don't know. Is Kyrie now the point guard again? I mean, is Ben Simmons the point guard? I think Kyrie has to go back to being the point guard and I think that's fine. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see this team. But again, just like it was when they had Harden, they all have to get healthy. They all have to get right, decide what they're doing about Kyrie Irving. Is he going to play in home games this year? Is the mandate going to change in New York City? Are they going to say, the heck with the mandate, we'll pay the fine if we get to the playoffs? Right now, the Nets have lost 8 in a row, and they're sitting in the play-in spot. They're not even in the playoffs right now. So they've got work to do, and they need guys on the court. So I got to get Ben Simmons out there very soon.
Join us Super Bowl Sunday live from Saratoga National. Harrison Butker, the Chiefs Super Bowl champion kicker, will be with us from 5 to 6. He will be in person. Pumped to meet him and to have him on the show. We'll get you ready for kickoff between the Rams and the Bengals. Bags and I both are picking the Rams to win. We may end up rooting for the Bengals. I don't know what the heck's going to happen either. By the way, there's a nice fun sidebar happening here where Ashley is challenging people to name Olympians from the past summer games, which we just had. And Sam is trying to come back to the whole Olympic conversation here has really flown off the rails. Thanks for watching Honorado and Bagnardi, everybody. Come back, hang out with us Sunday night from Saratoga National at 5 o'clock.